Alright, it's September, which means I am a little bit, again, behind on some movie reviews. Two movies came out in September. One movie came out on Disney+. That movie on Disney+ is Elemental. We're going to talk about that first. Then the two September movies I'm going to talk about are No One Will Save You, the new thriller on Hulu, and Expendables 4. I am very excited for this video because on this list, there's not a single movie I hate, but there's not a single movie I love, you know. So with that said, let's not waste any further time, and we're going to go ahead and get started. But before I do that, please make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, and comment down below what is your thoughts on all three of these movies. I want to know all that down below and more. With that said, we're going to talk about Pixar's Elemental first. And this movie, for me, I'm a big Pixar fan. I'm just going to throw that out there. Pixar is easily the best animation studio out there. I love almost everything they put out. Even when people aren't liking the things they've been putting out lately as of the last couple of years, I personally have always been a pretty big fan of them. I've liked Turning Red. I've liked Lightyear. I liked this movie. I liked, I liked Luca. I liked Soul. I liked all of these. And these are some movies that people are thinking Pixar's really knocked off. I don't really feel that. I don't really feel like Pixar... I feel like Pixar just continues to make movies that are made for me, entertaining while also having a good layer of emotional themes under the movie's layers. So, for this one, I was not a big fan of the trailers, but, I mean, I wanted to see it because, I mean, of course, it's Pixar and I like Pixar. And for the most part, I enjoyed the movie. I liked it. It's not the best Pixar movie of all time. No, it's not even close. In fact, I do have a couple more negatives than I would, and this is one of my least favorite Pixar movies of the new decade. But this movie right here, I think, is pretty solid. Starting off with the solid voice cast, everybody is pretty great here. They all have great chemistry with each other, and the animation in this film is absolutely gorgeous. I think that everything in this movie looks great, as that Pixar vibe. There's something going around Twitter where this movie had a big budget. In fact, it had a bigger budget than Across the Spider-Verse. And people are like, where did that come from? This looks like any other Pixar movie. Well, yeah, but the Pixar movie's animation still looks great. And the voice cast was all great. They all, like I said, had great chemistry with each other. It was pretty funny throughout the movie. The movie's themes here, this is always something you really got to talk about with Pixar movies. The themes, because this movie does have a lot of themes, and we're going to talk more about this in the negative section, but the movie has a lot of themes. It has a theme about romance. It has a theme about connecting with your parents and living your own legacy. It even has a theme about accepting yourself. So there are all these themes in this movie, and for the most part, they're solid enough. They're not my favorite themes through Pixar, but they're solid enough. They're teaching a good message, you know. The movie can also be heartfelt and pretty emotional at times. There's a essential core here to where, it can get very emotional in the middle of the film. There's one certain plot line that I definitely do think is pretty emotional. Also, the movie can be pretty funny at times. I laughed a couple times while watching this movie. It's got everything that a Pixar movie does have. The animation's good, the voice cast is good, and it's got themes that are made for people. The story, the central love story, is pretty good. I buy into the relationship. I like their chemistry. It's just enjoyable. It's just an enjoyable movie to sit down and watch. It's got everything that you want from a Pixar film. The problem with this one is I definitely did have more problems with this movie than I really have with any Pixar movie in the last couple of years. I definitely think that there is quite a bit of problems with this one. First off, I did say that the emotions are here. The themes, the underlying themes, the emotional themes are here. There's a lot of them. There is quite a bit of them. Like I said, there's the one about the relationship, which, for the most part, I liked the relationship. I thought it was pretty sweet and pretty cute. But then after that, there's one about accepting yourself and your father, and that could be a good message. I just think it really needed executed a little bit better inside this film. I really do think that when we get into that part, it's like, so excited to own the shop now, and then all of a sudden she meets this guy, and she's like, yeah, I don't want to own your shop anymore, Dad, I'm sorry. And it's kind of like, it doesn't really explain to you why she just switched her mind. It's just like the movie needs to go there. And so like, okay, yeah, she she completely switched her mind and now she doesn't want to do that anymore. And it's just completely like reversed on its head and just a really weird way to get onto those emotions. And then also you got the emotions about finding yourself, which are pretty good emotions. But then you like the way these emotions are executed is weird. The way the emotions are executed in Turning Red is pretty emotional. I can connect with me. And maybe these emotions didn't connect with me. They didn't, because these are emotions that aren't really my type of emotions. The romance emotions, those don't really connect with me. But maybe I'm just saying these because these emotions didn't really connect with me. But it just seemed weird how all of a sudden it just throws out of nowhere. And that's the main emotion we have here. Also, it's worth mentioning that this movie's not for everybody. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was an enjoyable Pixar movie. Had everything that a Pixar movie has. Even though it's one of the weaker ones out of the past couple of decades, it reminds me a lot of Luca, even though I would even say Luca is better because this one is the worst one of the decade. But anyways, I enjoy the movies. But then there's my brother, on the other hand, who watched it with me, and he was bored out of his mind the whole time. He thinks that this was the worst Pixar movie. It was boring. It was stupid. And he's got those problems. And so, like, I definitely do think that this movie's also going to be a little hard for kids to connect to because of the romantic emotions and because of all the other emotions in here, and especially the romance part. The romance part isn't necessarily for the kids. This movie takes more of an adult theme here with the romance. It's not really just about, it's more of a teenager movie, I think. It's not really about for the kids. It doesn't really have the thing where you can sit the kids in front of the TV and they can enjoy themselves, but when you want to watch it, you can watch it and enjoy it. It just doesn't really have that kind of Pixar magic. It does everything that a Pixar movie should, right? It has good animation, good voice cast, fun adventure, enjoyable to watch, has the emotions here. But for me, the movie's just not all that special, and definitely Pixar is one of their weakest out of a long time. It's cute, it's fun, it's fine, it could be funny, it's enjoyable, you should watch it, but definitely considering what Pixar's been through, this movie was not all the greatest. And so for Pixar's Elemental, I think I'm just going to give it a B. I didn't dislike it. It's a Pixar movie. A mediocre Pixar movie is a pretty good movie in general. And so even though I didn't love it, I still liked it. I'm still giving it a positive score. I did enjoy myself while watching it. Just had a couple things that really confused me. And yeah, so that's just my review on Elemental. We're going to move on to No One Will Save You on Hulu. If you've been one of the OGs and been following my channel since the beginning, you would know that Hulu and me, original thriller movies, we don't sit well together. First, there was 2020's Run. It was a film by Anish Shaganty. And then there was Prey, the new Predator movie. And you don't know how I thought about that one. I'm not a big Predator fan, but I thought it was mediocre. It was fine, but it was more mediocre than anything. And then there's this movie. And going into this one, I was excited because I saw the reviews and I saw the trailer. I thought it was solid. And everybody was saying this movie was great. But I was also like, yeah, but it's Hulu, and I haven't liked the Hulu thriller in so long. This one right here will completely change my mind because I absolutely enjoyed this film. I think it is absolutely fun time. I absolutely dug this movie. Starting off, the cast here is great. You go this whole movie, there's one line, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but it's very much a physical acting, and I think she does a fantastic job with that. She is very good in here without having to say a single word. She conveys all the emotions, and she conveys everything that she has to in there, and I think it works really, really well, especially due to her performance. The creature designs. Oh my gosh. There was the trailer, and I didn't even finish the trailer. I just saw that first part, and I shut it off because I knew instantly I was going to watch it. But the trailer here was all like, yeah, cool, where's the creature? I really need to get a glimpse of the creature. But I was very excited to watch this because I love a creature movie. And even like the beginning of it, you never really get a full look at the alien. The alien's just like, every time the camera just cut away and it got kind of annoying. But then the part where you finally see the full alien. And the first time you see the full alien is when she stabs it in the head. And it is creepy AF. It is awesome. It is Very good. The creature design is great. There's one where a big spider comes down from the skies, the big spider alien, where it's crawling on all these legs. That is super cool and super awesome, and the creature design is just great. This movie reminds me a lot of The Quiet Place. I like The Quiet Place. It's not my favorite. That franchise as a whole, I do not value as much as a lot of you guys do, but I like the movies enough. It reminds me a lot of there. It's a thriller where they're in a house and creatures attack. That is really unique, and I really love these simple premises because this one I think really worked. There's a little bit of a 15, I'd say, minute stretch where she leaves the house and tries to do something, and that I don't think was as effective as when she's in this house getting chased around by aliens. I could watch a whole hour-and-a-half movie of just that. If she didn't go anywhere, if she didn't do anything, I would never get bored of this because that was awesome and it was creepy and it was thrilling and it evokes all the things you want. Thrillers are my favorite genre of films. Not even just horror movies. I love thriller movies. And then it goes horror, and then it goes comic book, and then it goes action. Those are my top 4 favorite genres. But this movie is just, it works as great as a thriller. It's not necessarily even really a horror movie because it's just got those scenes where you're just sitting there and you're like, what's going to happen? I'm thrilled. This is thrill ride. And because it's creatures, it's not really just like, oh, we're big monster's going to kill you. That's not the goal here. And it's very cool and very fun to watch and very, very, very creepy. Like I said, the creature design was great. This movie, I don't know how big the budget was, but for the budget, which I imagine is not the biggest, it does a very good job here. It's a very good job making this movie to be like, oh, look at all these. And they look great. They just don't look bad. And it just looks pretty great. And I really did dig the movie. I think that this is a solid thriller on Hulu. Very creepy for the first 2 acts. And I was on the edge of my seat quite a bit during this movie. I would recommend this to you. There's a difference here, though. I'm not done. Because the first 2 acts are great. If it just ended there with her stopping the aliens or whatever, I would give this a really big positive score. Because that was creepy. That was awesome. That was incredible. And then we get to the 3rd act. And, I feel like this 3rd act, how do I say this? Really needed to have words in it. I really respected the creative decision not to have words in it. It kind of made the movie more effective. 3rd act really needed words in it because something happens, and spoiler alert here, 3, 2, 1, go. If you watch this finale, it's all like, yeah, look at the aliens are here, they kidnapped her, they sent somebody down to kill, she killed them, alright. She's in the ship, they read her mind, they send her back down, and then all of a sudden she's dancing with the alien-possessed people. And I was sitting there for this whole 20-minute stretch like, what? What is exactly happening here? What? I really did not get it. It was very confusing to me. And so you know what I did. I used my trusty pal Google, and I go on Google, and it's like, yeah, he did an interview, explained it. So basically, what happened was they felt that she was just as misunderstood because she killed her best friend, which I got that part. That was very emotional. Because she killed her best friend, and then all of a sudden she's an outcast, and so the aliens felt bad for her and gave her all the humans to play with. Okay, it would be nice if the movie could explain that to me. It is a little bit better than the internet and an interview with the director could. Because, the ending is something that a lot of the general audience is not going to get. I didn't get it. And that's saying something. I'm a smart person, and I did not get this ending. It's something that the general audience will not get. And you really need words to add in there. And so, because I was really confused, it kind of put a sour taste in my mouth. I really enjoyed the movie up until that part, and then once it ended, I was scratching my head like, what just happened? I don't know what just happened, seriously. And so, even though it's a good movie, it's solid enough, this ending is really like, oh, okay then, alright, that kind of came out of nowhere, onto the next movie, I guess. And so, it was a fine movie. It really would have been better if it would have explained itself just a little bit better. But, it was still fun, really great, really good action. Has everything that you want from a thriller movie. It just could have fixed itself just a little bit more. And that's why, what's this? No One Will Save You. I almost forgot the title of this movie. I want to give it an A-, but I'm going to have to give it a B+, just because of that ending really confused me. So, No One Will Save You is getting a B+. Expendables 4. A lot of you are going to be really confused when you watch my video on this one, because apparently this is considered one of the worst movies of the year. People hate this movie. It's the first Expendables movie I watched. I wanted to go to the movies. I asked my dad. I said, this was before The Creator or Saw X came out. So, like, nothing really is in theaters that I could go see. I want to see The Nun 2, but I'll wait till that's on streaming. And so I asked my dad, I'm like, hey, you want to go to the movies? And he's like, okay. And so we went to go see Expendables 4. First Expendables movie I ever watched. So don't hate me when I say I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. I like the cast. I think they got fun charisma. I like the action. I think all that's fun. This is just a fun movie to sit down and watch on a Friday night. And that's not what we did. I think it was on like a Tuesday or something. But it's a fun movie to sit down while we watch. That's just like a Friday night fun action movie. And that's what this is. And for me, it personally kind of worked. And the big thing here is the cast. Jason Statham was in here. He was very good in this movie. Obviously, I'm a big Jason Statham fan. I love him in everything he's in. I pretty much give a positive score to everything he's in now then, because I think he just carries all these movies, and I really did enjoy him. Sylvester Stallone's in here. Spoiler alert, not like you guys probably care, but Stallone dies within the first half an hour, and so, honestly, when Stallone dies, I was like, that's an interesting creative decision. But the more it goes on, I feel like the more it worked for me. I feel like the plot about avenging his death is a good enough plot. And I see why a lot of people hate it. But, like, even though I thought, why are you killing Stallone? The plot about him avenging his death was very good here. And I kind of wish they kept it that way. In the ending, it reveals he's alive. When I really thought he was dead, but he's alive. And we'll talk about more of that when we get to the negative section. But I really did like him, and his chemistry with Jason Statham's off the charts. I wish we had more of it. Everybody else here is great too. The action is just fun. Sure, it's got some shaky cam action. You know, I hate that. But a lot of the action is just fun. It's bloody. It's gory. It goes full rated R to where you shoot and blood goes everywhere. There's one part where they throw a guy out the door and his head just goes clean off because it hits a pole. Flashbacks to Hereditary. That movie, that part is great. There's pretty good fun action here. The story, like I said, I like the story, the revenge plot enough, but I also really like that it's just kind of simple. It goes from first mission, Stallone dies. They're all getting ready for their next mission. They go on the boat, they get kidnapped. Jason Statham goes on the boat, or he kind of does a couple things, then he goes on the boat, and then he rescues his friends and fights the bad guy. It's not like this big grand adventure. I thought that was the middle of the movie, and then we'd go on to something else. It's not like this big grand adventure. It's perfectly timed to where you never get bored. They go on the boat, stop the bad guy, movie's over. It's just a fun movie. It's really fun, and for my first Expendables movie, I don't have that much complaints for it. I can see why you guys do. The movie doesn't look that great, obviously. It has a big budget, but it looks like clear, obvious green screen. But, you know, that's fine because it's a fun movie. It's all it is for me. You got to understand that. For me, this is my first Expendables movie, and it made me want to watch the others because I just had so much fun with it. I love the others probably even more. I didn't love this one, but I love the others because of Sylvester Stallone and Statham's chemistry. I think all that's great. And so I really dug this movie. I really, really dug this movie and had a lot of fun with it. Does that mean I have a lot of problems with it? No, it does not. I do have quite a few problems with the movie. Number one, Stallone should have stayed dead. Or just don't kill him at all. Because, like I said, I like the plot, but all of a sudden, when he comes back to life, it's like, that's a little late. You could have done that before. Like, why didn't you do that before? And, like, the reason for him escaping alive probably kind of irked me just a little bit. Get this. The beginning of the movie, Stallone makes a bet, right? He loses his ring, and he gets Christmas to go help him get his ring back. And so Christmas puts on some knuckles, some of those brass knuckles, beats the living crap out of them because they won a bet. Because they won a bet. Sounds stupid enough yet? Yeah, well, the person they lost the bet to, he stored in the back of the plane, and when it was going down to explode, And I didn't even think about this, but how did he know that the plane was going to explode? I don't know. He puts him in the passenger seat and basically kills an innocent man because he lost a bet and got his ring taken away. And so, yeah, that man dies for the ring. And it just kind of left me like, what? This is supposed to be good, guys. It has murdered an innocent man in cold blood. And I think it's pretty hilarious for the fun movie, but like, what? What's going on there? Wow. And like I said, the movie didn't look all that great, but it's still a fun movie. It's nothing I can really complain for because it's an Expendables movie. It's meant to be fun, and I had fun with it. I had fun in the theater. Right now, I think it's my favorite movie of September. Maybe. I might even switch that with No One Will Save You just because it's this movie versus No One Will Save You, which is a movie that I think does a lot of things right. But for Expendables 4, I'm also going to give it a B+. And I know a lot of you are going to be like, oh, why did you give that movie a B+? It was an Expendables movie and it was dumb. Because it's my first Expendables movie in the theater with my father, and I thought it was pretty good. So thanks for clicking on this video. Breaking Bad Season 4 and 5 review. I might combine that into one, just do a whole review of Breaking Bad because I finished the show. It's amazing, and I really just want to talk about Season 5 a lot. And so that's coming up. Might see the creator today. Most likely I will see the creator today, and that'll be a video coming up. Barry seasons ranked. I'm almost done Walking Dead Season 3, or Season 2, sorry. Only Murders in the Building Season 3 is over, so I will get caught up on that. Ahsoka finally ends the show tonight. Loki's coming out. Also, I will finish The Bear Season 2. I'm watching a lot of TV shows, but also I'll do a review of Saw X. I got a lot of videos coming up. That's my point I'm trying to make here. But thank you guys for clicking on this one. With that said, subscribe. Join the Nerd Army. Peace out.